Welcome to Hank's Place. Despite the efforts of the media, it's all right to be a patriot. In fact, it's commendable, especially as we remember the horrific attack upon the United States 20 years ago today. It's time to re-embrace, my friend, our nation's Pledge of Allegiance. The pledge expresses allegiance to the flag of the United States and the Republic of the United States of America. Such a pledge was first composed by Captain George Thatcher Balch, a Union Army officer during the Civil War and later a teacher of patriotism in New York City schools. We give our heads and hearts to God and our country. One country, one language, one flag, he wrote. Balch was a proponent of teaching children, especially those of immigrants, loyalty to the United States. Totally awesome, huh? His pledge was revised by Francis Bellamy, a Baptist minister, in 1892 to say, "I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all." Bellamy said that at the beginning of the 90s, referring to the 1890s, patriotism and national feeling was at a low ebb, maybe like today. The patriotic ardor of the Civil War was an old story. The time was ripe for a reawakening of simple Americanism, and leaders in the new movement rightly felt that patriotic education should begin in the public schools. Amen and amen. The true reason for allegiance to the flag is the republic for which it stands, Bellamy stated. He then reflected on the sayings of Revolutionary and Civil War figures, and he concluded, all that pictured struggle reduced itself to 3 words: one nation, indivisible. It was first published for a national public school celebration of Columbus Day by James Upham, who has been quoted as saying, "If I can instill into the minds of American youth a love for their country and the principles upon which it was founded, and create in them an ambition to carry on with the ideals which the early founders wrote into the Constitution, I shall not have lived in vain." But what about the phrase "under God," you may ask? Glad you asked. During the Cold War era, many Americans wanted to distinguish the United States from the atheism promoted by Marxist-Leninist countries or the socialism today, huh? Sounds familiar. Louis Albert Bowman, an attorney from Illinois, was the first to suggest the addition of "under God" to the pledge. He was chaplain of the Illinois Society of the Sons of the American Revolution. He said that the words came from the Gettysburg Address, where Lincoln said that the nation shall, under God, have a new birth of freedom. Under God was officially adopted in 1954, following a sermon by Pastor George McPherson Doherty of the New York Avenue Presbyterian Church. That was Abraham Lincoln's church, by the way. And it was based on the Gettysburg Address and entitled "A New Birth of Freedom." He argued that the nation's might lay not in arms, but rather in its spirit and higher purpose. He noted that the pledge's sentiments could be those of any nation. There was something missing in the pledge, and that which was missing was the characteristic and definitive factor in the American way of life. He then cited Lincoln's words "under God" as the defining words that set the United States apart from all other nations. Following its adoption, President Eisenhower said, listen, "From this day forward, the millions of our school children will daily proclaim in every city and town, every village and rural schoolhouse, the dedication of our nation and our people to the Almighty." In this way, we are reaffirming the transcendence of religious faith in America's heritage and future. In this way, we shall constantly strengthen those spiritual weapons which will forever be our country's most powerful resource in peace or in war. Is it any wonder the devil is trying to tear America apart? Is it any wonder, though, that God does have his hand upon America and will rescue her and will deliver her? Friend, this special day, as an American, as a patriot, I urge you, recite the Pledge of Allegiance, give honor to God, and come alive.